something happens, it'll be like, okay, it's CIA's fault. But like in China, they don't have the same rules as the US. So when they're doing their testing and shit, they can go ape shit, dog. Like, they don't have to hide it. They don't have to. Obviously, they want to, but they don't have to not test. You know what I'm saying? Right. And even though here and in other places they're not supposed to test, they'll just do it more safely, more secretive. Mm-hmm. But like I said, in different countries, in different parts of the world,
you don't have to hide it.
They don't even have, not even just hiding it. They have the authority to test whatever they want.
Like it's legal.
Exactly. So they don't need some shit like the CIA.
But that's nothing new.
It's not
testing dangerous things on people, animals, whatever. Yeah, it's nothing new.
I don't know why people have this fascination of, it's illegal, the government wouldn't do it, scientists wouldn't do it. Like, bro, yes, they would. They're doing it right now.
It's the media, bro. Yeah, nowadays, like I don't know if we talked about this on a previous podcast or whatever, but it's like nowadays with the media, it makes everything a lot more sensitive.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah, the media is very sensitive.
It is.
So like it shines a spotlight on everything, and
including false information, and that's the whole problem. What would be good is the same thing as social media. I mean, that's what media really is. That's what they're starting to use as well.
But isn't that the problem?
Yeah.
Like, you know what I'm saying?
The fact that they could literally say a dog is a cat and post it on Reddit, and people are gonna start believing that shit. They're gonna be like, oh my god, they got the chromosomes wrong, dude. I'm telling you, a dog is a cat. Like, bro, it's ridiculous what people will believe nowadays because it comes from some bullshit source. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, it's honestly just ridiculous, though.
No, I 100% agree with you. Like, you remember when the media used to be like the New York Times, Wall Street Journal, Washington Post,
paper that you would have to.
The newspaper.
For, well, it was probably free, but regardless, you went and saw what you wanted to see, Mm-hmm. And even though, I mean, that's what the word propaganda is. It's really just a synonym for fake news. Right. That was their fake news, propaganda. But I'm not going to say there was probably more truth. There was just less lies. Because here, there's just an infinite amount of false information.
It's the false information part, like you say. I feel like in the newspapers back in the day, is that the media that we're going to just kind of refer to as the whole thing? All right, so back with the newspapers, it was just more straight to the point. Like everything was, sectioned off to what you needed to know, and then, that was it. That was the only way you got your information about the world,
Exactly.
I feel like they had TV too, like they had, we're not going too far back, but like, let's just say 80s, 90s time, so they still had news programs that gave them information as well.
And even if you did want to go back a little bit, if you actually know why they created TV in the first place, it was for distraction.
Yeah.
Like literally,
TVs came out what? When did it come out?
Probably 50s, 60s, some shit like that. Well, like, maybe that's not when they were first made, but I'm pretty sure that's when they became popular.
I'm going to go ahead and say a guess and say it's like a solid 1957.
Watch that shit be like, I guess it'd be ridiculous.
Are you referring to Apple TV?
1920.
What?
But the first, TV. By the 1920s, when amplification made television practical, Scottish inventor John Logie Baird employed the Nipscaw disc in his prototype video systems. On 25th of March 1925, Baird, or Bard, whatever, gave the first public demonstration of televised silhouette images in motion. So 1920s was when, not necessarily TV, but those big boxes that played with the film and was like, rolled in black and white. That's when it was.
Oh, okay.
Because TV used to be all, how we complain about 5-second ads? TV used to literally be 25-minute ads and then 5 minutes of a program.
Wow.
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
But I'll look up when TV became popular. Like I said, 1950s. Yeah. And the only reason why I knew that is because I knew that they were built for distraction, and that's when the wars and were escalating. They were like, yeah, we don't want to know what's going on. So actually, when you think about it, we're talking about the newspaper and how there were less lies. That's proof in itself, because that means they were trying to distract them from the press. You know
right. Well, I mean, like I believe we spoke on this in the last podcast. Like how much of what they tell us is the truth anyway, versus what they also are just gonna lie about.
Exactly. And for those that like don't even get what he just said, he's saying put in our face and lie about, and then also lie about the things they're hiding. So for us, it's like back then, if they could find something they were hiding, it's just the ultimate truth. But like now, it's like to even find something they're hiding is like, bro, it can literally be a distraction from the truth that's in your face. So it's like even though it could be seen as a good way of thinking, as a bad way of thinking, because you could just be like, well, in that case, it's bad because you're never just going to believe anything, or it's good because you have a way to understand that people are lying to you. But I feel like in this day and age, it's really not too far-fetched to actually believe that most of what you see is a lie. Because I mean, if you actually do real research yourself, and when I say real research, I don't just mean like go on Google, look up a question, and then listen to what Siri tells you or what Google tells you. I mean, like going into actual, libraries filled with U.S. government documentation, or even going on their website or something that will have the same legal documentation, declassified documentation.
Mm-hmm.
And for those people that don't know what declassified means, it means they were secretive and then got released to the public. So those are really where you should be trying to get your facts from, because those are more constitutional. It's more like if you do take your time to read this, whatever, you found the truth.
But that's the issue, because nowadays everything is faster. Why read when you can just ask your phone?
100%.
So
and
it's
they know that though. That's the whole point.
And they play off of it.
Yeah, easily. And when you say play, I mean a literal game. You know what I'm saying? They play. Like, it's fun. I mean, you have to like, it's ridiculous. Think about the president of the United States. Like, all he does is troll. That's our president of the United States. Something that used to be like the opposite of a joke. You know what I'm saying? You had to be in there ready for death. Now he's in there ready for a tweet war.
Speaking of presidents, I was just thinking about that. Like, do you remember when you had to actually do something great to be remembered as a president of the United States?
Yeah, now you just have to be funny. Now you have to be a joke. I mean, I'll leave it 100 with you though. Like on some real shit, like he actually is like doing things, but again, it just goes back to the game. Like, his image is making it seem like he's doing nothing but messing up. In reality, he's actually like getting shit done. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
But the whole thing for me about like presidents or whatever, and I'm not even gonna say this is how it started, but it's 100% how it is now and how it's finishing. It's not about making the world great. It's really not about making the United States great either. It's about, and even though they're called world leaders and they're supposed to be, it's not about that. It's about what they can do for themselves and their families. You know what I'm saying? I'm not one of those people that believe that, oh my God, Illuminati's real, they're all lizards and they pray to eat, you know what I'm saying? Like, that's ridiculous to me. But what I will say is they do try to take over the world with as much land, power, and money that they can in the amount of time that they have. And another thing that I do believe is that they might not all have the same, direct blood, but like in reality, it's like the people that were given the power probably were directed there. You know what I'm saying? The people before them probably already knew they were going to get there. And when I say that, you might.
So you're saying the whole thing is a hoax?
Yeah. But I don't want to say the whole thing though, because to me that sounds ridiculous. Because I feel like a president like, JFK was trying to warn us about certain shit rather than hide it.
So at what point do you think it all became a hoax for our presidential race? Honestly,
even though I just said maybe it didn't start that way, I feel like from the beginning, because I feel like you had one real president, one or two, three real like, let me finish. 1 or 2, 3, even up to 10 real presidents that wanted the U.S. to be protected. And even though they wanted to be on top. It was still for the U.S.
Absolutely.
But after so many runs, they started realizing what kind of power they had over the U.S. and had over the people. So they started getting power hungry and they wanted more. So they sailed out. They did this. They started taking over other countries, other lands, other parts of the United States that weren't even there yet. Got even more power hungry. Said, listen, when I die, you're taking the throne. It doesn't matter how they see it. That's what's happening. That's what did happen. More and more power. And even though, and this is what I was trying to say, when they might not have the same blood, but it was all premeditated. After all that family lineage happened, someone else saw that power and was like, okay, I'm going to run for this. I'm going to run for that power. What do I have to do to get it? Make it seem like it's about the people. But what it's really about is them. That's what I feel. It's not even like, it's just what seems logical,
I think at some point, I'm not gonna guess a president, but I'm gonna say at some point they realized that it was just about the numbers. The whole thing was just about the numbers, trying to get that 51%. Yeah. I think at some point, I'm not gonna say whatever president, they just made it simple. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, I feel like before, whenever they started to do that, before that it was a complete, like, you have to do what you said you were going to do.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And then, like I said, at some point down the line, all that message just got watered down. I'm not going to say that it's like a family lineage type of thing. Like, you're gonna have this throne next.
Yeah. I didn't mean like right now. I don't think Trump, was chosen by Thomas Jefferson. But what I was saying is that's how it started. And what I'm saying now is somebody like Trump would aim to have his son in the seat so that way it can go back to that family lineage thing.